Good evening. Turn this music down a little bit. I don't know why I can get music from my phone to record properly, but I can't get my own guitar. The mic won't pick up my guitar. Anyway, hi everybody. My name is Melody, and you are listening to Melody's Musings and Music. And I'm here in my living room, in my little relaxation zone. Got my little evening comfies on, and I'm ready to share with you a piece that I wrote called The Art of Songwriting. And it's kind of long, so I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. I'll share some additional thoughts. It is said by some that music is a universal language which transcends culture, age, place, and time. If that is true, then songwriting is the ability to tap into that mysterious universal language and translate it into an easily recognizable form that resonates with all humans everywhere on a deep and yet uniquely personal level. If music is the road that takes us back to a particular destination in our memories, then songwriting is the vehicle that transports us along that road in a style of our own choosing. You may be wondering, just where do musicians find the inspiration to write the songs that make us laugh and cry? How much of what it takes to write a song is inspiration, and how much is plain skill coupled with perspiration? The art of songwriting is often perceived to be a veritable combination of separate elements magically woven together to form the colorful and free-flowing fabric we call music. Perhaps what isn't clearly apparent is that the process of songwriting varies widely, and that the threads of inspiration that appear in different forms and facets when seen through the eyes and souls of different artists. These threads of inspiration irrevocably surround the careful observer. They are found in seemingly common life experiences like birth and pain and death, growing up and growing old. Often it is not only the experience, but also the strong emotion we associate with a given experience, like love, hate, fear, and joy. And those emotions are the common threads that inexplicably bind the human race together as one. Often an artist must look deep within the recesses of the heart and extract the bare essence of the message struggling to be conveyed from a present mood, state of mind, or perception of life on any given day. Equally as often, outside influences capture attention, things like physical surroundings, climate, or the feeling in the air at any given moment in time. Although inspiration is by its nature elusive, for a genuine artist, in its basic form, it can and does exist in the ebb and flow of life at its most poignant. Once inspiration has taken hold, again, the art of creating a song is only in its infant stage. That infant must then be formed and nurtured and allowed to grow into a finished product, a mature song. As in life and raising children, this requires various degrees of labor, time, sacrifice, and effort on the part of the creator. Talk to any artist and they will tell you that while writing certain songs, the words and the melody came as a package deal and flowed effortlessly from the start. Yet, with other songs, the two developed separately and were later married with one spontaneous stroke of genius. Just as no two artists are exactly alike, like children, no two songs are born in exactly the same way, even if they emerge from the same artist. Formal skill in the mechanics of songwriting also has its place in this process, of course. To possess knowledge of tone, timing, rhythm, and overall flow can speed up the development of a new song. The ability to merge both the left brain's logical centers with the right brain's intuitive ones results in an odd kind of schizophrenia of the mind. This mindset is only achieved when fueled by powerful inspiration or when the artist's entire focus is brought to bear on a message struggling to find its distinct voice in the deafening universal chorus of voices. All artists are motivated to create by the potential rewards, some tangible and some intangible, that abound from practicing the art. Among the most notable of the intangibles are the tremendous measure of self-fulfillment felt when a song is finally completed. The inner thrill and joy of knowing that in some small way you have touched and influenced the lives of fellow humans with whom you share this planet. If monetarily successful, the tangible rewards become the material blessings that result from such success, or the fame and fortune that is born when adoring fans honor the artist with their ears and their wallets. Whether from within or without, from tangible or intangible sources, inspiration is the pulse that directs the flow of a songwriter's efforts. The creativity at the center of the heart of songwriting is a two-way street. It can arrive from some unknown universal source, and it can also make itself known from a deep and equally mysterious inner universe. Most artists have an intuitive understanding that the key to success is to be observant enough to recognize and tap into that creativity regardless of source. Though some skill is needed in order to create a song, much of what makes up a finished musical garment is as invisible to the outside observer's eye as love is to his heart. And although the theme of this piece is songwriting, the concepts described here apply equally to the art of writing poetry, as most songs are simply condensed forms of poetry set to music. I wrote this essay many years ago when I fancied myself a musician of sorts, having penned and picked out many original songs on my old and treasured Alvarez classical guitar. This is my guitar that I've owned since I was 12 years old. So I've had it for 50-something years. This essay is dedicated to all of my favorite artists and songwriters from the 70s, which is the time frame that I grew up in, late 60s, early 70s. The Beatles, the Eagles, Bread, Neil Diamond, Karen Carpenter, John Denver, and many more. To all of these artists I say, your songs still resonate in my soul, and your work keeps me inspired and writing to this day. As I stated, I've owned this guitar since I was 12 years old, when my mother paid for 6 months of classical guitar training for me, one-on-one with a brilliant instructor, and I learned as much as I could under him for the amount of time that my mother could afford the lessons. And after 6 months, as we parted ways, he told me, "You've now learned the basics of classical guitar playing, and you can take this skill and go on to play country, any genre you desire. Country, jazz, blues, pop, gospel, you name it. Because now you have the basics under your belt." So I did that. I took what I had learned and went home to my bedroom and spent hours and hours and hours and hours playing this guitar. And in my lifetime, I estimate that I have written probably a dozen songs. Unfortunately, I don't have all of them either recorded or written down. Some of them are just still in my head. But my point is that, if you have a love of music and or poetry, and you've always wanted to express yourself in that way, it is possible for you to do that at any age. If you're 12, or if you're 112, might be a little harder at 112, but you know what I mean. And since I've, was a child, I always dreamt of maybe not a full-blown music career, but I wanted to be able to express myself skillfully in that way. And right before I turned on this camera, I tried to record some of my Spanish flamenco music that I can still remember from my lessons. And unfortunately, I cannot get this computer microphone to pick up my guitar at all. So I'm going to have to get some help with that. But I've always loved listening to music and creating music. And I've even taken some writing courses in songwriting itself. But really it comes from the inside when there's inspiration to write a song. And as I described in the essay, many times the words and music will come together, and that's always, they come at the same time, which is kind of cool when that happens. Because other times, it's a bit of a process, let's say a challenge. You might get the words first and then figure out the music, or vice versa. Can happen either way. And, I find that I tend to be most inspired or find inspiration when I'm soaking in water. When I'm in the bathtub. In a house that I lived in for about 25 years, I had a garden tub in my bathroom, and right above the garden tub was a window, a sky window. What do they call them? I can't remember now. But a sky view. And I would go in there in the bathtub, and when I laid my head back and looked straight up, it was almost like that skylight. That's it. It's almost like that skylight was a portal of some sort, because I got more inspiration for not only writing music and songs, but poems and all kinds of inspiration for other writing projects. So I've always described it like this, when you see those talented people who can walk, like you're in the mountains and you've got a mountain over here and a mountain over here, and they've strung a wire across from one side to the other, and the person gets on the line and walks their way across that wire. In some ways, the creative process, the inspiration for writing music as well as other things, is like you've got that wire running across, and then here you are down here, and at times of inspiration, it's almost like your soul throws a rope over that wire and you begin to ascend, and that rope becomes like an antenna through which you receive downloads of ideas and lyrics and music. It's kind of like a universal connection line of some sort. I don't know how to describe it, but I think you get the point. Anyway, I came from a bit of a musical family. My mother played the piano, and after I learned how to play the guitar, I taught all four of my sisters how to play. And they all play now, and many of their children play guitar. Guitar was my chosen instrument. When I got to the age of 11 or 12, my mother asked me, "What instrument would you like to learn how to play?" And I had to choose between the flute or the guitar. And I chose the guitar. I said, well, I'll learn how to play the guitar first, and I'll master that, and then I'll move on to the flute. Well, I never made it to the flute. But I did pretty good on the guitar for many years. Unfortunately, after I got married in my early or late teens, the first time, I played the guitar less and less, and eventually it lived under my bed, and it stayed under my bed for probably 2 decades, and it only came out for special occasions like weddings and funerals and birthdays, things like that. But I'm in the process right now of reconnecting with my music, and I know I keep talking about that on this channel because that's why I included the word music in the title. Unfortunately, I've had nothing but technical issues trying to make that happen. But I believe that I will overcome that at some point. And I will, if I have to, I'm going to build my own studio. Dang it. You know, I mean, I've got to be able to express myself through music. So, anyway, I am enjoying my little time here in my living room with my smooth jazz music and my alternate lighting. Give you an idea. Here's my bookshelf. So I'm pretty much wall to wall, alternate lighting here. And I love my little space heater fireplace. Adds a very cozy touch to the room. Anyway, folks, there you have it. The art of songwriting from Melody's perspective, anyway. I hope you enjoyed listening, and I hope that you will come back and see me again soon in the next video. Starting this weekend, I'm going to go traveling for a couple of weeks, so I may or may not record any videos while I'm on my trip, but I have a feeling I may, if inspiration hits me just right. I'll turn on the camera and show you where I am and what's going on. Until then, take care. Take care of yourselves. Love one another. Love yourselves. I love you with the love of God that lives within me. I thank you for joining me, and I will see you as soon as possible. Bye, everybody.